I'm Jashikins, and welcome back to another episode of Jash Reads. Again, my laptop hasn't been all repaired, so this is one take for better or worse. And tonight, this afternoon, whenever you're watching this, I am going to continue reading Animorphs #2, The Visitor by K. Applegate. I don't know why I do that. I don't know why I do anything, actually. Kill it. Kill it immediately. I wanted to run. I wanted to panic. But some strange combination of the cat's cunning and my own intelligence came together and saved me. I didn't so much as flick a whisker. If I had, I would have been dead. I knew that for a fact. If I'd reacted like I'd understood, they would have known for sure that I was no normal cat. Fisher 3's hologram watched me closely. All 4 of his Andalite eyes were focused on me now. And behind that gentle Andalite expression, I could feel the razor-sharp focus of the powerful, evil Yerk. Chapman, too, was staring at me. He had the same look in his eyes that he had when he got someone trying to skip out of school. I was terrified. Or at least the Rachel part of me was terrified. Fluffer couldn't have cared less. He sensed my concern, but he had none of his own. There were no birds of prey here. There were no dogs. There were no smells of dominant cats. There was only a sort of 3-dimensional picture that had no scent. And Chapman? Chapman might be prey, or he might not, but he was certainly no threat. It could be an Andalite, Fisher 3 said. Destroy it. In response, I said, meow. Fisher 3 glared at me. What is that? It's the sound a cat makes, Fisher. I believe it wishes to eat. Swap. Suddenly, without warning, Fisher 3 whipped his tail at me. A dangerous, foot-long, sky-shaped blade arced toward me at a speed no human could hope to evade. But I wasn't just a human. In 1/10 of the time it took to blink, I had seen the sun in motion, and I was crouched down, ears back, teeth bared, my paw, claws outstretched, swiped at the tail blade. My paw went straight through the hologram, and the blade, nothing but projection, swept through me. It took me a second to make sense of the sound. It was Fisher 3 laughing. Chapman seemed amazed too, like he had never heard the Fisher laugh, like it wasn't even possible to imagine the Fisher laughing. What a ferocious little beast, Fisher 3 said approvingly. See how we did not back away or run? I have many times his size, and yet he struck at me. A pity that the species is too small to serve as a host. Yes, pity, Chapman said warily. Kill it, Fisher 3 said. What better form for an Andalite to use but to kill it just to be safe? Yes, Fisher, Chapman said. Only the Visher snapped. It belongs to the girl. If I kill the animal, she will be angry. She may draw attention. Killing a cat is seen as a bad deed. It would violate my cover. Visher 3 did not look happy to be disobeyed, but he was not a creature who made impetuous decisions. He considered for a moment, while my future just hung there, balancing between life and death. Do not violate your cover or draw attention, Visher 3 demanded. I figured it was time for me to do something in my own defense. I walked over and rubbed my flank against Chapman's leg. What is it doing? Visher 3 demanded. It is signaling that it wishes to be fed. Interesting. Claws and teeth and ferocity mixed with the subtlety to manipulate creatures larger than itself. A worthy creature. Yes, let it live for now. Let it live until we have resolved the matter of the girl. Chapman's face actually seemed to twitch. It was the only emotion he had shown, other than fear. The girl? But Visher, the agreement with the human Chapman. Visher 3 sneered. Agreements? Don't be a fool. We make agreements to gain voluntary hosts. Agreements are a tool, just as you are my tool. If you had brought me the anti-bandits, I would not have to concern myself with a cat or a girl. Chapman bowed his head. I will bring them to you. Do that, Visher 3 said coldly. And then the solid-seeming image began to change. The gentle ant-like body melted away, and in its place grew a monster like nothing ever seen on Earth. Where the ant-like head had been, there was now a long, thick tube. There was an opening like some horrible mouth at the end of the tube. The thing was purple, but translucent. You could almost see through it, although I wasn't sure if that was because it was a hologram or if the animal itself was that way. A hologram Visher lowered the tube mouth toward Chapman's head. The mouth opened, revealing hundreds, maybe thousands of tiny suckers, each dripping slime. It seemed as if the tube mouth closed over Chapman's head. Chapman shook and quivered in terror. Visher 3's artificial voice said, "Don't forget, NS-226, I gave you this Chapman's body. I placed you in his head because I trusted you. I fed you his brain and made you my lieutenant. But I can suck you back out again if you fail me. Would you like to see what happened to the last fool who failed me?" Suddenly, an image appeared in the air, like a little movie. It was a second hologram. It showed a human woman, pain-wrecked, screaming, with the purple creature sucking on her head. The real Chapman began to moan. Oh, no, Visher. I beg you. In the little movie, the translucent purple thing suddenly went into a spasm. From the woman's ear there came the slug. It was sucked, dripping, gray, slimy, right out of her head. The purple creature swallowed the yerk slug. Then the little movie ended. Not a very pretty picture, is it? NS226. Chapman just shook his head. His eyes were still staring at the empty air where the image had appeared. Fisher 3 began to resume his ant-like form. Don't fail me, Fisher 3 said. Suddenly, Fisher 3 vanished. The room was dark again. Chapman sat hunched over the desk, with his head in his hands. It was a while before he opened the door, and we both went back up the stairs. Miss Chapman was there, waiting. What are the Vischer's orders? She asked in a whisper. Chapman looked at her like he'd just seen a ghost. He wants the ant-like bandits. He morphed into a Van Arx, a Yerkbane. He kept his voice low, too. He glanced toward the stairs. I guess he was checking to see if Melissa was around. Miss Chapman shuddered. I'd heard that he acquired Van Arx. I always thought it was just another story to frighten his underlings. He showed me how he destroyed NS-174. Miss Chapman looked shocked. He used a Van Arx on an Innis of the 2nd century? That ant-like controlling scum, Chapman said viciously. I wish the Council of 13 would find out what kind of a mess he's making on this planet. Let them take that ant-like body from him and throw him back in some distant pool on the homeworld. Don't wish for that, Miss Chapman said grimly. Long before Fisher 3 loses power, he will surely have destroyed you for failing him. My cat ears noticed the sound before either of the Chapmans. Movement. Human feet pounding. I cocked my ear toward the stairs. Hey, Mom? Dad? Can one of you help me with this math problem? It was Melissa. She was halfway down the stairs. She stopped and glanced hopefully at her parents, or at least at the people who had once been her parents. We're busy right now, Melissa, Chapman snapped. Besides, dear, you should do your own work. That's how you learn, Miss Chapman said. If you still can't figure out later, your father will help you. Melissa's face fell. She forced a smile. There was no happiness there at all. I guess you're right, Mom. It's just the square root stuff. She hesitated, like she was hoping her parents might change their minds and go back upstairs with her. Miss Chapman smiled. It was a smile as empty as Melissa's. Square roots are hard to understand, aren't they? But I know you can do it. I'll come up and check on you before you turn in, sweetheart, Mr. Chapman said. The words were normal enough. I guess my own mom or dad could have said exactly the same things to me. Dear, sweetheart. But the way they were said, there was something missing. Humanity, love. Call it what you want. The words were right, but they were completely wrong. It was horrible, in a totally different way than the monsters we had fought in the Yerk pool. This was the kind of horrible that that made you want to cry instead of scream. And suddenly I found myself running after Melissa as she headed back up the stairs. When I reached her room, Melissa sat down on the bed and began sobbing. Rachel? Can you hear me? Yes, Tobias. I'm up out of the basement. I'm upstairs in Melissa's room. Thank goodness. I've been trying you every minute or so. I was worried that you were trapped downstairs. No, I'm out. Good. You have more than an hour left. But Fluffer is trying to head home. Cassie and Jake and Marco are trying to capture him again. But you know better than anyone how wily he can be. Melissa flopped on her face on the bed. She pulled a pillow over the back of her head and just cried. I can't leave just yet, I said. Rachel, if the real Fluffer walks in while you're still there. Yeah, I know, but I still can't leave right now. I have something I have to do. I went over to the bed. As small as I was, the side of the bed looked like a wall. It could have been the side of a 2-story building. I settled back on my haunches, gathering energy in my leg muscles. Then I sprang up, effortlessly, to land with perfect grace on the bed. I walked over to Melissa and sniffed her hair sticking out from under the pillow. I heard a sound coming from somewhere. It was a sound that reminded me of my mother. It reminded me of both my mothers, the human woman and the cat who had licked my fur and carried me around in her mouth. I recognized the sound. It was purring. I was purring. Melissa put her arm around me and drew me close. The physical contact made me a little anxious. It made the cat in me want to leave. But then she started scratching my neck and behind my ears. I purred a little louder and decided to stay for a while. I don't know what I've done, Melissa said. It startled me to realize she was talking to me. Did she guess the truth? Did she know I was human? No, she was just a girl talking to her cat. I don't know what I did, Melissa repeated. Tell me, Fluffer McKitty. What did I do? Rachel, what are you doing in there? Tobias, I have plenty of time. You have less than an hour. Don't push your luck. Jake is practically having a fit out here. He's telling me to tell you to get out. Not yet. Melissa needs me. I had stopped purring, probably because I was preoccupied arguing with Tobias. I started purring again. I felt Melissa needed me to purr. She was still crying, still scratching slowly behind my ears. What did I do, Fluffer? She asked again. Why don't they love me anymore? I felt like my own heart would break right then, because I knew now why Melissa had stopped hanging out with me. I knew why she had become more withdrawn, and I knew how little hope there was for her. My stomach turned and twisted. Next time Marco asked why we were fighting the Yerks, I knew I would have a whole new answer. because they destroyed the love of parents for their daughter, because they made Melissa Chapman cry in her bed with no one to comfort her but a cat. It was a small answer, I guess. I mean, it wasn't some high-sounding answer about the entire human race. It was just about this one girl, my friend, whose heart was broken because her parents were no longer really her parents. Look, Rachel, I told Jake what you said. He said to remind you that you have a job to do in there. You're not in there to come. Tell Jake to shut up, Tobias. I said angrily. I'll come out, just not yet. I purred as loud as I could. Melissa cried and came to me like a vision. All the children all over whose parents had been made into controllers, and the parents whose children had been taken from them to be turned into controllers. It was a terrible image. I wondered how it must feel to see your parents stop loving you. After a while, Melissa fell asleep. I got up and padded down the stairs to the pet door. It was chilly outside. My friends were all waiting. They were also a little mad at me for making them wait and worry. You only have 10 minutes to spare, Rachel, Jake said. I hope it was worth scaring us all half to death. Did you at least discover something useful? Yes, I discovered plenty. I discovered that Chapman has a way to communicate directly with Fisher 3. I discovered that Fisher 3 is pretty hot to catch us, although he still thinks we're Andalites. And I decided something, too. What? Cassie asked me. I decided that I don't care what it takes or how many risks I have to run. I don't care what happens to me. I hate these Yeerks. I hate them. I hate them. And I will find a way to stop them. That's the end of the chapter. So they're like right at the end there, like something's got into my eye. I'm going to check that out once I actually finish the video. So glad that my coughing fit started after I recorded, so that's, blah. Sorry for the mess ups. One was because for some reason I started blank there, and when I tried to look to see where I had stopped, I got confused. I thought I was on the previous page, and it's then the next time someone decided to actually pay attention to me, the worst possible time, when, you're doing something. And I tried turning the phone off, but then I belatedly realized that there's 2 steps to turning this off. You have to press this, and then, 3 steps. You press this, then it says, do you want to restart, do you want to turn off, and so I did power off, and I forgot then I have to click again to say, yeah, I definitely am sure about this decision. So yeah, those were the mess-ups there, goddamn. And then the eyelash at the end, it was like, I'll admit, if I was actually taking multiple takes, I would have been so fucking mad at the eyelash because it was right at the end, and I would not be happy with how that turned out. So I was like, okay, I have to spend all the rest of the 20 other minutes doing that again. Anyways, as for this chapter, I was excited to read this chapter. Last chapter read, I did not like how I did it because I was nervous, I was rushing. This one, I really liked the chapter because, for one, I love doing Fisher 3. I just love being this calm, confident yeah, he's evil, but you know, at least he knows what he wants. You know, I love that confidence because day-to-day life, not me. Then I also like the part between Rachel and Melissa, because that is an awesome part. And it also shows that even though this is a young adult series, it goes into some really fucking deep and dark topics. It's like if this is your first time hearing what Animorphs are, but besides, you know, they were the books with the goofy covers back in the 90s, like, holy like, the covers do not do justice. The covers are like, oh, this is goofy and fun. And then you have stuff like this of showing just Rachel realizes the big impact. So, as always, please comment below what you thought about this chapter. Remember, minor spoilers, okay. Major spoilers, no. Because I would probably talked about you mattered, like this, like something here in the chapter reminded me of that. And explaining why you mattered is a really compelling statement, and the Animorphs series is such a huge fucking spoiler, but it'll at least point people in the right direction of what I'm talking about. So, and if this is your first time hearing about Animorphs, if you watched a few videos and you're like, okay, I sort of want to check the books out, because remember, when I do these readings, they're my interpretations. Even on a good day when I don't mess up, I will be adding my own interpretation to the text, and you can look at the same text and get a different interpretation. So, if you do want to get the book for yourself, if you're watching this on the YouTubes, link to buy the book is in the description. You can buy it new, used, you know, ebook format, whatever. And if you're watching this on my lovely blog, you know, go below the video is an ad to buy Animorphs #2, The Visitor. So I know, please do that. And if you're watching this on the YouTubes, please like and subscribe, because I blog because I really need attention. I mean, because I like to blog. Shit. And if you're watching this on my bloggity blog, there's a follow by email option either there or over there, and you'll get alerted to more of these and other awesome things on my bloggity blog. Bloggity blog, 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 blog. Okay, and this is the part of the video where I drink a little sake, and if you have like a favorite alcoholic beverage, liquor, or anything alcoholic by you and you want to join in, do so. And if you don't drink for whatever reason, you know, drink some water. I had some, that's why up there. And actually, over there where you can't really see it, was having a glass of some coffee latte thing, so you know, always options. So let's see, what do we want to thank for? Let's actually hope that me and everyone else in the US will be able to survive Thanksgiving. Yeah. That's not stressful. I still need to try to contact my best friend because I'm going to be going down to where she is. And she hasn't replied text, and so I'm going to call her again tomorrow because I hardly get to see her because now I live hours away, and Thanksgiving is usually the only time I can, you know, see her again. Because that's what happens when you grow up, kids. It's really hard to maintain friendships, especially when you are horrible at maintaining contact, like me. So here's surviving Thanksgiving. And as I'm probably going to be away for maybe a week or so, you know, just hold up for the videos. There's going to be a little delay for the next couple of chapters. even more reason for you to buy the book and, you know, read ahead. Read number 3 and number 4. Okay, I was going to play sets. So, until next video, goodbye.